Hello, how's everybody doing? I think I'm supposed to say this every time when I make a video. So my name is Sherry Weems. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I live in Post Falls, Idaho. And today I am going to show you a new technique. This is our this is our fourth episode of Technique Tuesday. So today the technique that we're gonna do is called Foxy Oxi. So you can see my giant thing of Oxi Clean here. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a technique using this, and we're gonna make some background paper and we're gonna do some things. And so I'm gonna show you guys how to use this. Now, you can get this at the grocery store, you can get it at Costco. We've had this for quite a while. My husband used to have a really dirty job, and actually he was on dirty jobs. And this really got the smell out of the clothes. But we're not here for an Oxi Clean ad. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna use this product today, and we're gonna make some background stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And then we're gonna bring in our cardstock. So you want heavy cardstock for this because you're going to kind of bleach your paper with that Oxi Clean. So you want, this is 110 pound weight. So you can probably hear that, it's heavy. This stuff is great. So you're gonna need a few pieces of that, and I just cut up a few pieces. So and then we're gonna bring in the ink pads. Okay, so we're gonna sponge the ink pads. Now, I'm not using the blending brushes. I know this is our new product, but I'm going to use a sponge because I really want the ink heavy, and doing it with a sponge makes it quick and it makes it heavier. So this sponge, I picked it up at the Dollar Tree, just cut it in little pieces, and it gave me some little ones here. And usually I mark them with paper, but since I'm just gonna do this technique and probably toss these, I just did that with that. So, excuse me for a second. I have kittens and they're everywhere. Oh, go on, go. Get out of here, sillies. Okay, so I'm back. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna open up this Petunia Pop, okay? We're gonna use these colors today. Petunia Pop, Azure Afternoon, and Crushed Curry. That's gonna be on one piece of paper. And then we'll bring in the Flirty Flamingo in a minute. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take your ink, and you're just gonna press, and then you're just gonna circle. And see, and you wanna put a lot of ink down because we're gonna be kind of changing up the color a smidge, okay? So now let's bring in some yellow. And the nice thing about these sponges too is if you can find them, they're cheap. You know, you use it and then you kind of just get rid of it. You just throw it in the trash because sometimes after a while they start to fall apart. Where our blending brushes, you can use those over and over and over again, but like I said, today we're gonna use this because we need quite a bit of ink on there, okay? So now let's bring in our blue. So how's it going with everybody? Are we ready for spring or what? I have some crocuses out in the front that are starting to open up. It was kind of cute this morning. They were all closed because, you know, they take a nap when the sun's not out. So they only open up when the sun comes out. And so since the sun has been so wishy-washy, we just don't know when it's going to be out in North Idaho. And I don't know about y'all, but we had a lot of wind this weekend. Holy smokes. I was like, Auntie M, Auntie M. Okay, so there you go. So here's one of our backgrounds. Okay, I'm going to add a stitch more yellow. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple of these and then I'll show you guys, then we'll pull in the Oxi Clean because I have to change out the mat, get the Oxi Clean, and then show you because I can't do it on this paper because it is messy. Once again, this is a messy technique. So if you don't like to get dirty, you might wanna think about doing something else, but this is really fun. And you know what's really cool? Honestly, like when you go and you do the Oxi Clean and you go to clean it off, all the ink comes off of your hands. You know, I did not have any ink residue, and I've been kind of messing around with this for a couple of days. So now we're just gonna do all blue. I think I need to re-ink my ink pad here. He's a little empty. You can kind of see in the center. So, did you guys hear about the new Stampin' Up! Ink pads? So we're gonna be having magnetic ink pads, which is very cool because I know a lot of people have a hard time opening and closing our ink pads. So what'll be nice is it'll be magnetic and then you can just open and close it, easy peasy. And I think they're gonna be a little bit longer. They'll still fit in all of your storage units. So if you bought one of our storage units, don't worry, it'll still fit in there. All right, so that looks like a nice blue. And you can see too, I'm going in a circular motion. You can also dab. It's really up to you. There's no wrong way with doing this, okay? You can dab or you can just go in a circle, you know, or like from the birdcage, we're gonna smear. So anyway, it's fun to say that. Okay, so now we're gonna pull in the Flirty Flamingo. We'll do one more and then we'll get to the Oxi Clean part. So let me grab, oops, I just dumped it in the ink pad. It's okay, I'm a professional. All right, let me close this up here. So, no more blue. We need these three. All right. So first off, we're gonna do like a little stripe. So it'll kind of look like a sunset, almost. We're gonna do the purple first, the petunia pop. This is a retiring color. So if you like this color, make sure you get it. It's going bye-bye. Come May 5th, it'll be the last day that you can order it. All right, and then next, let me grab one of these. We're gonna do the Flirty Flamingo, and he's staying around. As far as the yellows go, I could have chosen like one of our, like Daffodil Delight, but the crushed curry, as far as doing things like this, the crushed curry is nice and dark for the yellow, and it really shows up really well. So here we go. All right. I think that looks pretty good. And let's go back in with the yellow. And if you don't like, if there's too much of a line here, you guys, you can always just re-hit it and with the other color and kind of blend it. So there's really no wrong way to do this. And you can see it's really heavy. Like I said, this kind of stuff that you can toss after you use it, if you're not going to use it anymore, is perfect. Like I said, the blending brushes would do this, but I don't think it would be as dark. And I didn't want to sit here with you guys forever. And you can see my fingerprints kind of got on here. So let's see if we can go over that. There we go. Okay, so now let's get rid of all of this stuff. And we'll pull in the Oxi Clean. And now what I did is I put the Oxi Clean in a smaller bowl because we obviously don't need the big giant bowl. All right, so let's get all of this out of the way because we are about to get messy. And I even have a different mat. So I'm gonna switch this out. And you can see my little markers down here so that I get it straight. So that we can see it. Okay, now we're gonna pull the paper back in. We're just gonna set it here. Okay, and then we're gonna take our Oxi Clean and we're gonna have it snow, okay? So the lady on the video that I watched, and this is a really old technique, by the way. This is back in, I probably did this technique 20 years ago, so I have done it before, but this is a really old one. She used a scoop. That's way too much. So what I did is I just pinched. Okay, we're just gonna make it snow. Just gonna make it snow. That was my whole point of that whole conversation there, was we're just gonna make it snow. We don't need too much. Okay. And I'm gonna show you guys. So I'm gonna spray this with water next. And that's gonna help the Oxi Clean to kind of get into the paper and kind of bleach it out a bit. So I have stamped with bleach before. Give me about a month or two to get going with this because there's some other ideas that I have, and we'll get the bleach out and play with it. So I don't know about y'all, but here it's kind of cold, so this takes longer to dry. So we're gonna go over that in a minute. So, okay, just water. This is a hairspray bottle that I emptied out, or you can just get a regular spray bottle, and we're just gonna spray. See that? And you can kind of see how it's already starting to get a little bit bleached there. And I made some of these this morning and I let it dry. Well, and keep in mind, it is probably 40 degrees here and I'm in the basement of the home. So, oh, my water's not working. There we go. And so it's gonna take longer to dry in my climate. Now, if I was in sunny Texas or Florida, it might be a little bit faster. Okay, so that looks pretty good, nice and wet. So I have my heat gun here. So what I did the first time that I did this is I took the heat gun and I dried it. And it says to let it sit for about 30 seconds and then dry it. So let me show you what it looks like when you dry it with the heat gun. Because I'm gonna take these off camera and let them sit. And then I'm gonna pull in the samples that I did with it drying with the heat gun. Because I noticed that the color wasn't as rich. Okay, let me line that back up so that we're not crooked. Okay, so, and look, I even saved the pieces because, you know, we don't throw anything away. So here's the blue. This is when I hit it with the blow dryer. Okay, it's bleached, but it's not as, it didn't have the same effect that I really wanted. So here's another one. And so here's the one with the 3 colors. So you can see this effect here, right in this spot here, where it's kind of bleached out a little bit and is a little bit wavy. It has some texture to it. So let me show you the card that I made using the one that I used with the dryer, okay? It's still a beautiful card. And let's see, I have notes in here. I used the, oh gosh, Mixed Florals stamp set and the Ladybug embossing folder here, and my Happy Easter stamp. I don't know where that was from. It was from my closet. So I didn't have any current Easter stamps, but you can kind of see the effect there. See, we kind of lost the blue here. It didn't show up as well. Okay, so that's one card. And then this next one, I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So what I did is I used a kit from one of my classes, and I stamped this here and I cut it out, or yes, I cut it out with a die cut. And then I stamped the underneath coneflower here. You can see that kind of layers it. So you can kind of see that a little bit with the blue. But what's really cool is the butterfly. This was fun. So he's got some of that petunia pop here and the crushed curry over here. And then since we don't throw anything away, I just cut out a couple of more butterflies with that. So that's kind of the difference. So now let me show you the ones that I did that I let dry. And hopefully you can see the difference, and hopefully the camera's gonna pick it up. So this one here is kind of a sunburst. And you can see it's a little bit more wavy and it's a little bit more washed out. And then there's some blue around here, and you can kind of see it like crackly, but you can see that the paper is bent. That's why you need to use super, super thick paper. And I would recommend when you put your projects together doing this technique that you use glue. Tape runners are fine, but the glue will really get all of the pieces down and you won't have any warping when you go to give the card to somebody. So I really like this one. I like how this turned out. I like the crackle here and I like the crackling here. And it's just really, really fun. And hopefully the camera's picking that up, okay? So a couple fun projects that you can make with this is you can just do the black and do a silhouette. And for this, I have my notes here, sorry about that. I used the Meadow Dies and the Unbound Love stamp set for this. The Meadow Dies, those are retired, forgive me, but they were the only big dies that I had that were a large silhouette. And then what I did is I kept a strip of that paper and I just put it here on the inside of the card, and I matted it on black to kind of give it a pop so that it would pop out and it would really show all those beautiful colors put together. Okay. And this next one here, I used a silhouette stamp, and that is, oh goodness gracious, I don't remember what stamp set it is, and my note is not here. So anyway, this stamp set here is just a silhouette, and then I did all the, I just cut out the shape here, and then I kept this because I thought you could use like a little strip here, a strip there, you know, and we don't throw anything away. So that's with us just stamping over it with just black ink. I used some little doodads here, and I used the same doodads I used before. Those are the frosted iridescent dots. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, next one. Here I redid that card And then here it is with a little bit more crackle. And you can see the crackle here and the crackle here with the bleaching. And just really, really pretty. So let me show you one more of that. And let me show you what else you can do with that. So let me pull these in here. So for that blue one with the background, I made this card here with the Whale Done stamp set. So I got my whale there, and he's got a wiggly eye on him. And you can just see that. And then I just stamped the inside. So you can kind of see how it's more marbled. So I'm going to pull those other ones back in, and we'll take a look at them. All right, so here we are. They're starting to dry. So let's hit it with the dryer and see how dry we can get it. Now this is the one time that I'm going to let you shake back and forth, okay? You can go ahead and shake with this one. And like I said, you want to use your embossing gun. You don't want to use your heat gun from the garage. You don't want to light the paper on fire. We just want to dry it. And what's really nice is when you do dry it all the way, the Oxi Clean comes right off. And like I said, it'll get your fingers clean after you're all done doing all the sponging. So I know this has taken a while, so sorry guys. Stick with me here. Almost dry there. Your best bet is to try to do this when it's warm. Maybe set yourself up, put your Oxi Clean on, go do a couple errands, run to the store, or let it dry overnight if you have time to do something like that. But if you're pressed for time, by all means, please use your dryer. It doesn't look bad, it just doesn't give it as much of the finished look with the crackling. So, all right, that looks pretty dry. So, it's probably really hot. I wonder if I should pick it up. Okay, let me get this out of the way here so I can show you guys. All right, so now, oh yeah, it's still a little bit wet. It's wet on the back, but we're just gonna flake this off. Can you see that? It still looks pretty though, even with the dryer. But I just think it gives it a better feel with the letting it dry. I think today I let it dry. It was honestly because of our climate, and it's, you know, it says it's kind of spring, but not really. We're supposed to have snow in a couple days, so. But you can see, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So fun. And then once it dries, I know it looks a little bit warped, but you will be totally fine. Go ahead and use it on a project. So let me get this back out of the way here. And I'll show you a couple more, okay? And I'm gonna wipe my hands on my pants because that's what we all do because we're adults. So this next one, this is kind of like a sunset. This is one of my favorite backgrounds to make when you do either sponging or with the blending brushes. And you can see here, it just kind of gives it more of like a crackled effect, or tie-dye if you wish, you know. So that was another one. And here's a couple more of the blue. I did these this morning, and it's really washed out. This one has really gotten lighter. This one here has really gotten lighter, honestly, since this morning. Since I did it and walked away, I had some other things I needed to get done around the house. And then this one, I was going for like a galaxy effect, which is really, really fun. I just love that. That turned out really, really good. And then this last one is the one that we were working on that I just did the blow dryer. So let me hold up both of those. And you can see a little bit of the difference with the dryer versus letting it dry. All right, so let me show you a couple more cards. Embossing folder, need I say more? So this sunflower embossing folder is amazing. There are so many techniques and tricks to using this embossing folder, but this is one of them. I thought this was a really pretty sympathy card. It says, keeping you in my thoughts, holding you in my heart, and remembering you in my prayers. And it says, so sorry for your loss. So that is a peaceful, lovely sympathy card. So you can make one of those. And let me see what else. I think that's everything. So give this a try. Let me show you guys some scraps though. So here's some scraps. I punched out my little, oh gosh, what is that? I'm having a brain fart, sorry. So anyway, I stamped him right there. Jellyfish, oh, good gravy. So sorry about that. And then here, look, these are ladybugs. Aren't those cute? I didn't use those. I stamped like 5 or 6 of them and I didn't use any of them, but I'm gonna keep it because, you know, we don't throw anything away. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sorry for being long-winded again, but I hope you'll give this a try. It's really fun. And the cleanup is really, really easy because you're dealing with soap, which is nice. And remember, we just sprinkle, we spray, we let it dry, and then we go for it. So I hope you guys had a good time. I will see you next week. I think next week I'm gonna do a fun fold. I've not done a fun fold ever on camera, so we'll give that a try. So tell me which one of these is your favorite. And please remember to like and share my videos. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thanks, bye-bye.